What did you personally take away from working at such highest of the highest level kitchens in the world?
That everything is possible. They make the most innovative food ever. I was making a lot of bonbons. We were making small chocolate pieces. At some point, it was like a huge, 80 kilos chocolate pieces.
What was your biggest lesson that you had from the Fat Duck?
All your life is about creativity, learning.
So you were just really focused on research and development.
This one probably was the most stressful time in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the season finale of the Chef JKP Podcast. First of all, I hope you all had an amazing Christmas and a very happy New Year. Whatever you were up to, I hope it was a really lovely time. And thank you, by the way, for all of your great comments about the festive special. Glad you enjoyed it. The entire season has been about growth, personal growth, professional growth, creative growth, and the growth that happens when we push beyond our comfort zone and step into who we were meant to become. It only feels right to close the season with someone who embodies that ethos completely. A chef whose journey is not just impressive, but it's inspirational. But before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to all of our guests during this season, sharing their stories, their knowledge, their heart. It's been absolutely amazing. And a big thank you to our headline sponsor, Potatoes USA. These guys have truly made the show absolutely possible. And last but not least, we could have not have done this without you. I know that all of you are always sending me messages. You talk to me about the show, your favorite guests. We read all of the comments. It really means a huge amount to me. And what's really cool is that you also share your images when you're flying on Emirates Airlines. Thank you so much. It means absolutely everything to me that we keep shining a spotlight on all things gastronomy in the region. And you know what? We don't take it for granted. This has been 16 episodes. It's just been absolutely amazing. Now, today we are joined by none other than Carmen Rueda Hernandez, one of the most talented chefs in the world. Originally from Spain, Carmen actually began her career wanting to be in the hot kitchen. But in a beautiful twist of fate, life placed her inside a chocolate shop. And from that very moment, her lifelong love affair with pastry began. Since then, well, she's carved out a path that only most chefs can dream of. Working across the world in iconic places such as El Bulli, the legendary Fat Duck Group, as well as earning accolades and recognition every single step along the way. She now heads up Brix, a restaurant which is purely based on desserts, a tasting menu concept that brings her artistry to life. For me, Carmen isn't just a chef. She represents what it truly takes to grow: discipline, intention, mastery, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the craft. She stands as a reminder that greatness isn't just an accident, it's a sum of 1,000 choices, risks, and reinventions. So gang, buckle up. For the last time this season, time to rock and roll.
Hello guys, I'm Chef Carmen. I'm the executive chef at Brix. If you like this podcast, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe.
Carmen, a very warm welcome to the show. Now, as is customary, can you please tell me your first or favorite childhood food memory?
First, allowed me to say thank you for having me here. It's been a while that we've been talking about. And probably my very first childhood memory in food, it is chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
So, first of all, for anyone who doesn't know you, where are you from in the world?
So I am from a very, very small village in the middle of nowhere, in between mountains, in the center of Spain. Very beautiful village. It's called Herbas, where we have 4 seasons and a lot of water, a lot of sun. But at the time when I born, we were not so rich culinarily talking.
Mm-hmm. So then when you talk about, let's say, family and meals, and you say particularly chocolate, which meal or flavors of chocolate do you remember as a child?
I was the one always looking for the chocolate on the box of cookies, that they have like different kind of flavors. I was the one that always went and checked out all the chocolate ones. And when something happens, my mom used to go and take this box, and suddenly none of the chocolate cookies that were there.
Like a punishment.
Exactly.
And so family-wise, how big was the family?
No, very small one, like my father, my mom, my sister, and I.
Okay. And was the whole family super foodie?
Not at all. No one in my family, no even my cousins or uncles, we never been really foodies. It's something that I don't know how it born on me. And I started to cook when I was a kid, but mostly like an instinct. I used to play with flour in summertime, flour, water, put it in the garden, and the sun make it grow. And I was fascinated by seeing something grow. So I keep it every summer like a kind of like bread non-baked in the garden.
Uh-huh. So then when you were studying in school, was cookery or economics or anything like that, was it in the school where you were learning?
No. In Spain, we don't have this kind of classes at the school.
Okay.
It's been always something that I did sometimes on the weekends with my grandmother or with my mom, but it never been like something that was making it, but I never really thought about it deeply.
Okay.
Even so, like one day I remember I was cooking and a memory came to me. And it's this memory of me going to my grandparents' house in the south of Spain. And at that time, not many kids they were in that village because it was even smaller than my village. So I remember going to the shop, buying chocolate, melt it in the microwave, because probably I saw this somewhere, but I don't even can remember where, and taking the leaves of the roses and spread on the roses chocolate and put it in the chiller. Sometimes was working, sometimes didn't work, but I never knew why. And many years after working at El Bulli, we were making chocolate with mint leaves. And I remember that, like, I have this memory, feedback memory come back to me. And I was like, how is this possible?
Amazing. But then, for me, just to understand also, in your village where you were from, and you say you were surrounded by beautiful mountains and 4 seasons. So did you also have, for example, like the local bakery or fishery or anything like these kinds of shops?
Yeah, so we have like a local bakery. We have a local pastry chef that he was French, married with someone from my village. So we have like a French style pastries, but I was never interested into that neither. But I remember going on in autumn, going and finding mushrooms with my family. So things like that, we used to make it, but it was never like the full attention into the house, into the culinary.
So it was more kind of like family fun outings and discovering and things like this. So when did you actually start to discover your love for sort of professional cookery? Did you, because I want to understand, during high school or college, did you start having a sort of more curiosity, or you wanted to go into it professionally?
Neither. So basically, when you are around 17, 18 years old, you need to choose what to do in Spain. My goal was to go to university and study economics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I make even the exam pre-university. I passed the exam. I even went to the university. I put all my papers. It was approved. But something in the last minute made me think that maybe this one was not the right movement. So it's very much like a gut feeling. And I thought, like, why don't I do something that I really like it? So I remember that the previous Christmas time, I went to Barcelona because almost all my family lives in Barcelona. And my uncle told me, like, why don't you think into cooking? Because I was always trying to do something, but never super seriously. And I thought, like, maybe I could try. And I changed my university for culinary school.
What's the name of that uncle?
Antonio.
Antonio. So thank you very much, Antonio, first of all. And when you decided to do that change, so you said you're 17, 18 years old. Did you also have a conversation with your parents about that? And what did they say?
Well, because they told me, like, whatever you do it, but try your best. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure how it's going to be, but because, like, I never have any kind of contact with any culinary or kitchen or hospitality, never before in my life.
Wow.
Because any kind of jobs that I did before, it was always helping my father. My father has a garage. So I know more about cars than about anything else. And when I started in the culinary school, I really never been the best in the school into practical. I was very good into all the exams, but I never been the best into the practicals.
And when you were helping your dad in the garages, how old were you when you started helping him?
Oh, probably I was like 8, 9. Yeah, I always have to do something, especially in summertime.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go to swimming pool, he told me, okay, you can go, but first you need to come in and help me for a little bit of time, and I will give you the money to go there.
Okay.
So I always have to, like, help them to do something, just to know what is the effort of.
Of course, but it sort of showed you about hard work and things like this when you were young. And this is not food related. When you were helping in those garages, did you actually enjoy the work or did you hate it?
Oh, no, I really like it. I really like it because I always like it to be useful. So even when I was very, very kid, I always tried to help to my family to do something. I never been the one like sitting, always wanted to help.
Okay.
So if my father told me to go and do something, of course. I always wanted to help, and I was always asking questions, why do you do this? What is this powder for, or this liquid? And I'm always was there.
So even then, when you were very small, you're also very curious.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Curiosity is always that. It's been always in me. Even if it's not food related, I'm always very curious about anything.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So once you made the decision for university, what was the course that you chose?
I choose something that is called restauración in Spanish. It's basically culinary art. It was 2 years, and it was like it's like 2 stages in Spain for this. It was like the medium and the top of the medium.
Right.
Because I have all the studies for pre-university, I could jump exactly into the top one.
Right, okay. Perfect.
So I make these 2 years. They teach us everything like French, English. They try to teach us French and English. A lot of the practicals, also service, a lot of service, and Excel and all the paperwork, economic a little bit.
Okay. So it was more, would you say it was more managerial?
It has like a 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at the same time then, so as well as doing the front of house, you were also in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was 50-50. So certain days you make front of the house, certain days you make kitchen.
So I want to understand then, from that course, you had a choice, either front of house or back of house, and what made you sort of choose more back of house?
Oh, because front of the house, it was never an option for me. Yeah, I wanted to cook, and in cooking is where I found that I am more free. Also, you are not in front of the guests, so you have, because even if it doesn't look like, I'm not the most open person, I am more like into the shy side. So for me, being in front of the guests, it was a little bit hard. So you make the job, but I don't enjoy it so much back in the years, especially because you have to behave in a exactly way. You need to remember where everything goes. So
right.
It was, and everything is like a show, no? You need to make it in the moment. In the kitchen, you have more time sometimes to think, to prepare, to organize. So it gives me more room for do it on my own speed.
And where was this university located?
In Madrid.
In Madrid.
Yeah.
So when you were in Madrid, and the study was a total of how many years?
It was 2 years, but after the first 2 years, I wanted to make 2 more years to learn more about cooking itself.
Ah, okay.
So I make a total of 4 years.
Wow.
Everything cooking, savory.
So can you tell me how, so the first 2 years, let's say it's more or less a foundation of hospitality, let's say. And then the last 2 years, obviously more focused on culinary.
Yeah.
How did that course prepare you for working in a kitchen?
I should to say that it didn't prepare me exactly so much. Of course, it gives you the base of every single thing, but after many years cooking, I think that this should be done in different ways. For example, now that I know more what is happening in places like the Basque Culinary Center, I see how they prepare at all the levels, the new students. But back in the years also, it was not even this kind of preparation at no levels. So not only culinary world, like any other studies that you do, they never prepare you for what is coming after. From a psychological point of view, working as a team, all these kind of things, they don't prepare you. But also, my school, it was the first school that opened in Spain. So obviously they have all the bases. But back in the years, for example, people like Ferran Adrià was started to be more famous. And I have so many questions about what they were doing. And almost none of my teachers, they could answer my questions.
Right.
So they give you all the bases, but all the modern techniques, they were not there.
And as a student, were you also able to work in restaurants, or was that not permitted?
Yeah, it was allowed. So I was making also, like on the weekends, I used to go to restaurants. And because also I wanted to see what is the real life of a chef.
Ah, okay.
Because there is so many stories happening. And especially I never came from this background, but many of the students that they were with me at the class, they have restaurants and they were telling so many stories. So I wanted to know what is the reality of the life.
And what was the reality when you started working on the weekends in different restaurants?
Well, it's very funny because I was so kid and I was going to so many restaurants. So I was like the kid for all of them. And they really take care of me very much. And they really pay a lot of attention of everything. But I'm always also been like a very free soul. So if I see something that I didn't like it so much, I always think, okay, I can do this my way when I will have my space.
Right, okay. And when they have students, and I'm going to ask you because some people say when you're a stagiaire or you're a student, everybody gives you the worst job. You have to go in the fridge and pick herbs and all of this kind of stuff. Was it the same for you?
So I will say yes and no. So when I was a student, I wanted to know so much that I remember because after these years of studies, you have to make 6 months into a restaurant, only going to the restaurant for 6 months.
Oh, wow. Right.
And I was in this restaurant and I was in meat section. And to complete the hours, we stay a little bit after the lunch service to finish the rest of the things. So they give to us usually this like a milfoil made out of potato to make while the guys, they were like not working, and we, like all the stagiaires, we were working. And because we wanted to know more, we were making it super fast to let them say, give me more job tomorrow so I can make more things. So even it was like the worst job, we take it very serious to make it very fast so we can make something new. So I do believe that in life everything is as you want to see.
Yeah.
So give me wherever, but give me information. So I didn't mind to work as much as they wanted, as far as they could answer all my questions.
Right. Okay. And I'm just interested because you said for the last 6 months, you worked in the meat section.
Yeah.
Which might surprise a lot of people. But so if we go back to that time and you were working on the meat section, what types of meats were you working with?
Well, everything, like beef, a lot of pigeons, because I was in a kind of a high-style restaurant. Back in the years, it was not so big in Madrid in the culinary things. So, but it was one of the most famous restaurants, so we have a lot of pigeons, beef, everything,
Wow.
yeah.
And did you enjoy working on this section?
Very much, very much. I really, when I was at the school, I loved meat and fish. I never really enjoyed pastry.
Really?
At all. Yeah, it was never my favorite part.
And was it more about the preparation, the cooking, or was it the whole thing when it comes to meat and fish?
It was everything. I really liked to have a fish and cut it. I remember being at the school and a few guys take like a whole beef or half beef, baby's beef. We have a lot in Spain. And they take it from the legs and I have to cut through the spine.
Uh-huh.
I love all this.
Really?
And see where the muscles are, cut it, chop it, remove everything. All this one I really enjoyed.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear you say that because, again, people will be like, really? You know. And did you get into all the sort of technicalities of fish and meat at the school as well?
I get all the basics of technicality, but I have to say that probably I will learn much more years after when I was at the Fat Duck.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after you graduated,
Yeah.
let's say, you had your 4 years, degree, which is, it's a serious
Yeah.
degree. Obviously, you found your love of cooking. Did you go into fish and meat? What was your first job?
Well, my first job, like proper job, was a summertime. And it was while I was at the school, half day off a week in a restaurant on the beach, working like crazy. So this was my very first job. But when I finished these 4 years, I already knew since 1 year before that I wanted to learn a little bit more about pastry.
Right, okay.
So like 1 year and a half before I finished my school, I discovered one magazine that is called Apicius, very famous in Spain, and it was the first edition. And at the very end of the book, I saw someone that was making something with chocolate in a way that I never saw before. So I never really liked pastry, but I liked what I saw in that place. So I said to myself, I want to know what this guy is doing. I will go there. Somehow, I said to someone, that person knew that guy, so they put me in contact with him. And 1 year before I studied my school, I knew that I will go there for a stage.
And what was the name of that guy?
That guy is called Oriol Balaguer. It was based in Barcelona. So I knew that after being in Madrid for 4 years, I will move to Barcelona.
You knew?
I knew.
And when did you get the job?
So the job over there, I got it 6 months after making a stage with him.
Right, okay. 6 months after.
Yeah. So I was working with him for 6 months, every day.
For 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months. It was the stage.
Wow.
So in order to get money to be working in Barcelona without getting any paid for 6 months, the summer before go to Barcelona, because I started in September, I was working in Madrid in 2 different places at the same time.
Wow.
The first job that I chose, it was being a chef in the biggest hospital in Madrid. So I was chef in a hospital for summertime. And at the same time, I was the chef of a TV program of culinary recipes and all that for kids.
And explain to me how you were managing the time.
Because in a hospital, because it's a lot of pressure, they allow you to work a little bit less hours and you have more extra days. And the TV shows, it's not something that you do every day. So you film only once a week. So in once a week salary, I was getting the same salary that in the hospital in 1 month. But I needed all that money as much as possible to go to Barcelona and work for free.
So you saved and saved and saved.
I was sleeping in the sofa of a friend that was living in Madrid. So I was sleeping in his sofa so I don't have to pay rent. So I was also saving.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after 6 months, you did the stage, you got the job. And was that when you started to find your passion for chocolate?
Totally. So at the very beginning, this place in Barcelona, it was 6 months. So I thought I will make 6 months, and then I come back to the savory side, and I already know pastry, and I will be kind of like a complete chef.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks, I fall in love with chocolate and everything that they were doing over there, and I really never thought in coming back to savory.
But what was it that they were doing for them to hook you?
Because I think that I never thought so much on how much I like chocolate. And over there, it was a laboratory where you have chocolate and also pastries. But they put me into chocolate much more than the pastries. So I was making a lot of bonbons. We were making small chocolate pieces. At the beginning, it was a small chocolate pieces. At some point, it was like a huge, like 80 kilos chocolate pieces. And for me, all this one, it was really fascinating because it puts together art, chocolate, and a very, very good taste. So it just showed me how much pastry can be.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Because you must have just, learned, taken in so much information.
Yeah.
And what would you say was your sort of biggest lessons from working in that place?
Probably the thing is that when you are in pastry in the school, usually they teach you the basics and the traditions. And especially Spanish, well, maybe all the pastries, but the Spanish traditions, they are very basics, very sweet, zero innovative, no textures. And then I arrived to that place, and it was like a whole world of new flavors, new textures, new techniques. So it was like a door that I opened, and it was everything that I never saw before anywhere. So, yeah.
That must have been amazing for you.
Yeah, it was very, very nice.
And how big was the team?
Actually, it was quite big, but I have to say that 50% we were stagiaires. We were making an internship over there. And it was a team of many people, like a lot of from Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Spanish also. So it was a team that we were all growing together, and we were very new. And I have so many questions, and every time I have a question, they were answering to me. So that created more questions. So for me, it was like a totally learning. We were working 14, 15 hours a day. And yes, you are tired, but I was so much into the learning that I never feel like nothing. I really loved what I was doing. I was every day going to work smiling because I really enjoyed it.
That's amazing. And also, I want to understand, because some people would say, well, is there pressure? Is there no pressure? Was there pressure in that kitchen?
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure because it was also a lot of competitivity, because it was a lot of stagiaires that all of them, they wanted a job.
Ah, right.
But I'm zero competitive person. I'm zero strategy. So I am crystal clear. But I think that if you really work a lot, if you really make what you like it and your passion, at the end of the day, they see.
But for you, the most amazing part was that you were learning.
Yeah, totally.
So
every
much,
time.
every day.
Yeah.
How long did you stay there for?
At the end, it became in 3 years. Because we were in Barcelona, and after they opened a shop in Madrid, so I moved to Madrid, and I was the head in the shop in Madrid. So I was managing everything over there. Yeah, it was very, very special.
And what came after that?
And after that, I was the happiest person in the world. Living in Madrid is my city forever. But it's something inside that I'm not able to explain. Something inside myself, it tells me, you're very happy, but you need to move on. And that's why I thought that I need to go to another place to learn more. And because I never was in a pastry school, I thought that maybe I could go to France, because it's the base of all the pastries that we are doing almost every day. So I found a place in France, in the south of France. They have a small school, but also a laboratory, like a shop. So I applied for the shop, and they took me there as a commie.
And what was the place?
It's a small place. It's called the chef is called Olivier Bayard. The shop is called also Olivier Bayard. This guy, he's a world pastry champion. He's also MOF, which is Meilleur Ouvrier de France. And I learned so much over there.
I want to understand also from your point of view, how was it moving away from the family, first of all?
For me, it's okay.
It was easy.
For me, it's easy because as far as I'm learning, as far as I'm discovering, I don't know, I'm attached very much to my family and my friends, but the discovering something new is stronger than anything else for me. So I moved to a new country. I didn't speak French.
No?
I didn't know anyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you first arrived, so you were in Spain, then okay, I'm going to move on. You got this job in France.
Yeah.
You didn't speak French.
No.
Or maybe basics,
I mean,
let's
the
say.
basics, what time is it, what is it, and basics.
Sort of first time away in a foreign country
Yeah.
from the family, let's say, away from friends and family. How was the first day for you?
So the first day, it was, I remember at the beginning I stayed in a hotel, and then I got an apartment and everything. And for me, it was very nice because I was like in a new country, new things to see. I was on the street and I was so happy to be able to work in another country, that everything I make for myself. And I don't know, I'm a person also that I'm not very scared of almost anything. So for me, it was like very nice. My team was full of Chinese, Japanese people, French, Americans. So I was super happy to be there.
And when you say that there's a school and a laboratory,
Yeah.
Where were you placed?
No, I was placed in the laboratory. I was a commie making all the everyday mise en place. The school is a place that they have at the school for 20 weeks a year. They bring all the best chefs in the world, and for one week each chef, they make courses for people that comes from all over the world.
Oh, sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So you as a commie, you can help some of those teachers sometimes.
And again, so it goes back to you continuously learning. But this school or this lab was mainly pastry?
Fully pastry, 100%.
Full pastry. Yeah. So then that allowed you to learn, again, more technical.
More on the pastry. Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to understand also from when you were living there, how was the way of life?
Well, we work a lot. And obviously I didn't have many friends. So I knew, and I spoke with my boss, it's going to be 1 year. And I made myself my mind for 1 year there. So it was no internet as we have now. It was the phones. It's not this generation. So my thought, it was like, okay, I work 8 hours, but what else can I do? So in the rest of the time that I was over there, I thought that I could make double shift. So I was making double shift in that place. And many of the time that I was making double shift, I spent my time by making chocolate pieces, sugar pieces. And I was really learning a lot into this extra time.
And who did you ask to do this? Because obviously I'm assuming you have a contract which says, you're going to be working for 8 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. So you approached the chef directly?
Yeah, Olivier Bayard, yeah.
And what did he say?
Okay, if you want.
So that was it, nice and easy.
Yeah, very simple, yeah. Because everyone that was from all over the world, we have the same spirit. Since you are away from home, many of these guys, they put a lot of money to be there.
Right.
So obviously they really wanted to take the maximum of this time abroad. So it was like a very, very beautiful spirit. Like imagine that this one was in 2009, and I still have friends that I visit in Japan, in their houses. So we are still friends since then.
So you must have made some amazing friends and met so many things along the way.
Yeah.
How was the French food there?
The French food, it was very good. We have a lot of varieties, but because we have so many Asian people, and I started to discover that Asia was something very much in me. While we were working at the school, we have whatever food it was for the staff meal. But on the weekend, it was always Asian food.
Oh, really? And is that because everybody had cooked together?
Yeah, so we go to the house of someone, and mainly they were Asian, so we make a lot of Asian food here and there. Sometimes I have to make a Spanish omelette.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I learned a lot of sushi and a lot of Chinese food there.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
It was
So
very good.
in this place, how long did you stay for?
1 year.
So it's full 1 year.
Yeah.
You did everything that you needed to do.
Yeah.
And did you go back home afterwards?
Afterwards, the guy that I used to work with in Barcelona, he opened a bakery. And this one was because I was there while he was only making croissants. And then he opened a small bakery and we're making croissants, bread, panettone, all that. So this one was for me the part that I was missing more. So I decided to ask to him to come back. So I was there for around 6 more months making panettone. So I was working in night shift with a very amazing guy, French, that now casually he's MOF.
Ah,
Yeah, so we started there and we make a lot of bread, panettone, croissants. So I learned a lot also over there. And somehow one day I got a call. I was in the bus going back home and I got a call and they told me, "Hi, we called you from El Bulli." And I'm like, "Okay. Yeah, we have your CV. I would like to know if you want to come in and make an start with us." And I was like, "What? Can I call you back?"
so they called you.
So I've been always sending emails with CVs, but you never really, it's so many CVs that you never know. So one day they called me. Casually when I was in the bus, because back in the years, you neither work with your phone on your pocket.
Sure.
You keep the phone in the locker and whatever you answer after. I was in the bus and they called me. And I was like, "Can I call you back?" Because they told me, it's for savory, it's not for sweet. It's not for the pastry side. And I was like, "Oh, well, I need to think about it." For 1 second. And I called my father and he told me, "No, doesn't matter, go there." Wow. And then I called the day after and they told me, "Okay, that's fine." So I started. I was talking with my boss and I was like, I really wanted to be here longer, but it's the last season of El Bulli and I really need to go there.
And the last season was in 2011, right?
Yes. So I started there in January 2011.
And may I ask, before you joined,
Yeah.
how much knowledge did you have about El Bulli?
I always wanted to go to El Bulli since I was at the school, always. But I always knew that I wanted to go when I have more knowledge about pastry and kitchen. Because I was thinking that one is go like to the highest place in the world. If I don't have enough knowledge about how to make a base of anything, how I'm going to get the maximum of the knowledge. It's like if I don't know enough English, how I'm going to go to a university in UK. I will never understand what they are talking about. So for me, it was very similar. But since I was in the school, I knew, or I wanted to believe inside myself that I will go at some point there.
So once you got over the shock of the call, and then you called them back to say, "Okay, I'm going."
Yeah. Well, that night was horrible.
Yeah.
I called all my friends. You know who called me? What can I do? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But look, just to put it into context for everyone, El Bulli is one of the restaurants which for me has changed the game forever.
Yeah, it did.
Voted the best restaurant in the world several times. There was a point in time in the history of the restaurant where there was only 600,000 seats.
Yeah.
And 2 million people were calling.
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, the number of 3-star and beyond the chefs and the restaurateurs that went through El Bulli.
Yeah.
So, and you already knew the history.
Yeah.
How was your first day?
The first day was like, for me, it was much more impact the weekend before I arrived there. So they give you an apartment that you share with many people. When I arrived there, it was already people from the last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember being in there and asking to everyone, please tell me more what it is, how it is, because obviously it's like go to heaven, no? So, and they were like, no, it's fine, no, they will tell you more. And I was like, no, but tell me what it is, what are the recipes, tell me more,
you were
because
like an
I wanted to
excited
know.
child.
Totally. It's literally like the best thing ever. And I remember I have to drive, so I was driving my car up there, and it's like I don't know, this is the worst road in the world.
Really?
Yeah, to get there, it was really, really hard. So many people, they told me, okay, Carmen, you drive my car. So the people that you live with, some of them they have cars, some of them they don't have cars. So you meet some point and you put people in your car, so you drive until there. I remember people in my own apartment, they tell me, okay, we drive each car 1 week, but you drive my car. I put my car, but you drive it. Because people was very scared to drive through that one.
Okay.
It was a lot of tourists. It was very narrow, very, very narrow, very... But it's very similar to the roads in my village. So I'm very used to that. I'm an expert on that. So yeah, for a long time I was driving the cars of everyone to go there.
Okay, so you did that. When did you start to meet the senior team there?
Not from day one. Yeah, and the thing is that when you get there, like, obviously you've been in the kitchen and you listen to so many stories. I know people that is been there and after 1 week they give up. So I never put myself into the shoes of I am a good chef. So I remember I will go to El Bulli and just open, work, and don't think too much, because if people that I've been considering very good chef, they give up after 1 week.
Okay.
I'm like, what am I going to do there? And actually it was very, very good, like very, very good.
And so look, there's pressure, and I think there's 3-star Michelin #1 best restaurant in the world, consecutive number of years, pressure. Yeah. And it's the last season. So everyone in the world of gastronomy and beyond is watching, and they want to come in.
Yeah.
Right? There are numerous documentaries about the last service and all this kind of stuff. So that season for you, I'll say, of course, the first month you were trying to catch up.
And the thing is that the first 2 months, I was in a cold kitchen. I was not in pastry. So for me, it was like, well, in El Bulli, actually, it's never like you're in cold kitchen, but doesn't mean that you are making exactly what you make in any other restaurant in the world, cold kitchen. So it's a very funny place to be, but they have the most probably organized restaurant in the world. Every single person knows what to do in each single minute. No one can come into the kitchen if they don't allow you to come in. So everyone arrives there, you get changed, and you wait on the stairs with your tray full of containers, bowls, whatever you need to use.
So you have to be ready.
Yeah, and everyone wait, making a line. Only when they say we start, they allowed everyone to go into the kitchen. Wow. Everyone go to the section, you put your things in your section, and then you go to the first meeting.
Okay. So what happens during that first meeting?
In this first meeting, they welcome you. They tell you what it's all about, what is the training for the very first day. And in the rest of the days, every day there is that same meeting that they tell you allergens of the guest, what was wrong the day before, what was very good the day before, what we have to get focused on, every single thing.
And during your time there, do you remember how many courses that the menu had at that time?
Yeah, when we started, the menu has around 40 courses. And when we finish, some of the tables, they get to up to almost 54. Yeah, I keep one docket for each day that I was at El Bulli.
Oh, so you still have that?
I keep all of them, one for each day that I was there.
So then I want to understand, how disciplined was it in El Bulli? I mean, was it, as well as the pressure, was it ran very aggressively, or was everybody very focused?
No, it never been aggressive. Never was aggressive. Super serious. like really serious. When you are working, you are working. Then when you are having the break for dinner and having the coffee, that one is what you like. Before, you can be as you like it, but while you are cooking, you are really focused on.
And how long was the work day?
Usually it was around 12 hours. Some of the days, so if you come in from a day off, usually the day is 14 hours. The rest of the day is 12 hours.
And that was 6 days a week?
Depends a lot, because it was the last season. So we only cook when Ferran was there. So while this time Ferran makes some trips to different places, so sometimes we work 12 days no off, and then we've been off for 4 days.
Right.
Because he was somewhere else. So it was never like a weekly off. Sometimes, but no every time.
And how was it working with Ferran?
It was amazing. He was not every day. He was every day there, but he was not so much into the everyday mise en place.
Right.
Because there is like 3 head chefs plus one more that is also like a head chef there. So there's like 4 people in charge of every single thing, any question, every tasting that you do, because every single ingredient or every single elaboration is tasted by the head chefs.
Okay.
Every day. So you give to them whatever they have to taste.
So if I want to understand how they ran the pass and the service, how was that done? Because you're telling me, let's say, if we don't stick to 54 courses, but we stick to 40 courses, right? How do they run this? Is it by times? Is it dockets? I mean, who's running the sections?
So each section has a in charge, which is the one that is making sure that everything that goes out is correct. And all the dockets, they are on the table with all the dishes, and they're just clicking. They are calling. So the head chef, at that time it was mainly Edouard Chatrut. He was calling the rest of the sections.
Right.
And your head of the section is calling you. So whatever it is, we were making, I remember, tacos, ceviche, super funny, caviar, very funny things. So they were calling to caviar, to ceviche, whatever. Right.
But then, again, for a restaurant which is so reputable, has, such an incredible, it's just, again, the very best in the world. But when you're inside the kitchen and you told me earlier that during the briefings, they might have discussed something that was wrong. And we all know that during service, I think in any kitchen, things go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Is there any sort of particular days that you remember when things were not going to plan or mistimed or anything like this?
No, it's always everything on time.
Always on time.
And if it's not on time because you have a problem, someone comes to help you.
Right, okay.
Like, it's always a help. I don't know in the other timings, but in my time, everyone helps to each other very much to make sure that everything is perfect.
And so apart from the cold kitchen that you were in, did you make the move to pastry?
Yeah, I made the move to pastry because one of the girls has a small accident in the finger and she couldn't work. So they told me, okay, Carmen, come to pastry. And then I moved to pastry, and then it was...
So in the pastry course, how many courses did people have for pastry?
Wow. But pastry was at the beginning and also at the very end. So pastry was all the time full on.
Wow.
Because it has the beginning, many of the courses, and then at the very end, desserts, and also the sweet box. So all the minardis and the petit fours also. So it was always very hectic.
So very heavy work.
Yeah, a lot, like non-stop. And it was because El Bulli is just in front of the sea, so it's a high humidity.
Yes.
But you work with a lot of textures. So it's like a room only for dry stuff, like it's very, very millimetrical, everything there.
And was everybody also during that last season, was everybody sort of having fun but also very focused at the same time?
Everyone was very focused, but I think that everyone took it in a very different way. I took it like a gift. So for me, it was like, oh my God, I'm here. And sometimes they have to tell me, no, come on, go, you already clean. And I was cleaning with them until the very last minute because I'm like, if I can be there, why I'm going to be at home? Let me clean. And they were like, no, go home, you already cleaned your part. I'm like, let me clean the rest. Yeah, literally, they kick me out as much as they can, but I was like, no, let me clink away.
And look, take me back then to that very last service.
I will never understand. For me, it was, everyone was so happy, and I was like, oh my God, why? Yeah.
Because that must have been quite emotional. I mean, for
Yeah.
everyone involved.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember specifically hearing in the news that they were going to close.
Yeah.
And I think everything went wild, specifically for the restaurant. Ferran was already
Yeah.
in every single newspaper in the world.
Yeah. Every single newspaper in the world went to there to have interviews with him.
Yes.
We have almost daily interviews with all kind of people from all around the world. Every chef, big chef in the world, went to El Bulli to spend 1 week. Like, for example, I remember very well, Jordi Roca went there for 1 week to spend with us time in Pastry. Martin Berasategui, Artac, all the big ones, they were there for a few days just to see, to discover. It was super special.
Wow. And so after the last pastry plate or petit four went out,
Yeah.
I think there was a scene where everybody was hugging each other
Yeah.
and crying, of course, and a round of applause.
Yeah.
How was that for you to experience that?
And we were like, obviously they've been working there for so many years that they have everyone there, and we were just like, I was like, why they're so happy? Like, for me it was like, oh my God, I'm so sad. And they were very happy, but obviously you understand that after so many years, so much effort, so many no's, you get there, no?
And I think this is probably going to be one of the most difficult questions I ask you.
Uh-huh.
But what did you personally take away from working at such a Formula One, the highest of the highest level kitchens in the world?
That everything is possible. Because that restaurant, it started as a mini golf place where they make small barbecues.
Mini golf.
Mini golf, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Then it moves to a small restaurant. Then it moves to a little bit bigger restaurant. Then they brought French chefs. They got 1 star with French chefs. And then it was when Ferran was there. And then he moved to be the head chef. And they passed through the very French cuisine to start to be more modern, until they make the most innovative food ever. So this transition and having people understanding what they do, it means so much. So if you can go from mini golf to best restaurant in the world, it means that everything is possible. How many no's they've been getting? I don't even know how many. I know how many trials they have. The guys that they are in the plunge cleaning the dishes, they are the same since 17 years. So they've been going through so many things, and one of them specifically, he's super funny guy from the south of Spain, living in there. And I remember my father is also from the south, so we have a very nice relationship. And he was telling me, Carmen, you don't know how many things they went through the bin, and how many gummies, and how, because I can imagine now it's very easy for us. We know that 1 gram of agar-agar is going to have this result. But when you don't know how it's working,
Right.
the amount of experiments that you go through is very big. So having people that has been going through all of this and telling you how much they're going through, is like really, you understand how much no they have to go through.
Yeah. But the other thing is, that particular restaurant, you know, Spain already had, before El Bulli, had an incredible food culture.
Yeah.
Right? You know, real depth of flavor, and people know the different regions. But I believe El Bulli really put Spain on such a global map.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I have to say that I do believe we have in Spain very good restaurants, 3 Michelin stars, Martin Berasategui, Arsac, many chefs. They've been really great. But I think that El Bulli, it put Spain under the eye of everyone because it was very different, very special. They break all the molds, and it was working.
Yeah.
And people wanted to understand. And because the thing is that what I feel before I work at El Bulli, I was one of the luckiest one in between these 6 millions of people sending an email or a fax back in the years that I got a reservation. I got a table in 2006.
Wow.
I got a table there. By chance, totally by chance.
And how was that?
It was the best, and it will be the best culinary experience in my life. And especially because what I remember from that time is that everything you put on your mouth is amazing, but you don't know how it's made of. So everything, it was like, oh my God, I never had this before in my life. And this is always what I try to kind of replicate, that feeling.
Sure.
And you get it. So
Wow.
I've been lucky twice.
No, but look, Carmen, the other one, of course, I mean, again, El Bulli is phenomenal. But then I also want to understand, you also went to one of the greatest restaurants in the world, all the way in sunny England.
Exactly.
3 stars, again, was voted #1 best restaurant in the world.
Yeah, before El Bulli.
Before El Bulli, the Fat Duck. How did you arrive there?
So when I was working at El Bulli, I meet people, as I say, from everywhere in the world. And it was this guy that many years after became in the head chef of Arsac for many years, the funniest guy ever, Paco. And he made, before came to El Bulli, a stash at the Fat Duck.
Right.
And the amount of things that he was telling me about the Fat Duck, it makes me wanted to go there and experiment myself. And I was like, I want to work in there. So obviously me, with my English, back in the year that it was even worse, I have to speak with one of my friends from Canada to help me to send an email to the Fat Duck and say, hey, I'm at El Bulli, I would like to make to try if I can work in there. So she sent the email and they replied, okay, come for a trial. So while I was at El Bulli working, I have to go to UK for a weekend to make a trial at the Fat Duck.
No way. No way.
Yeah. So I kind of always knew my next step before I finished one.
Okay.
And I always move to places that I knew. I always knew what is my next move.
That's quite smart.
I don't know how to make it in another way.
And how was the trial?
So the trial was very wild. So I arrived there, imagine being in Giron, where it was super sunny.
Yeah.
And suddenly I arrived to UK. And of course it was raining. And I was in the chocolate room for the first day.
Right.
Half chocolate room, half prep house. Chocolate room is very, very cold. I was shaking all the time because it was so cold place. And I have a very small window and everything that I could see is a gray sky. And I was just like wrapping caramels and making small things.
Right, okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I really can get this job. I cannot make this every single day. Like, it was very, very small jobs, very technical. Then I went downstairs to the prep house and I really didn't understand anything. Like, things were moving here and there because at the Fat Duck you have a prep house, you cross the road, and then you have the restaurant. So the timings there very limited. You only can go from here to there at certain timings.
Okay.
So everyone basically hold me the hand and take me from here to there. The second day I was the whole day in the kitchen from 8 a.m. until 12:30, non-stop, because this is how service is there. It was there. I remember just going there and helping as much as I could, but obviously my English, it was not so good as is now at that time. So I really tried my best, but I remember being at the end of the service, they bring me to the garden, because back in the years in the garden you have the staff area. And Johnny Lake was talking with me and they told me, okay, we like how you work. When can you join? And obviously, we, like everyone at the fat duck, has access to English classes. So we need that you learn more English, because really back in the years, I could understand everything, but I really couldn't communicate with them that great. But I mean, for kitchen stuff, it's not so big thing as far as you understand when you need to send your dishes. So yeah, I said to them, okay, 1st of September, I can be here. So,
So after the traumatic experience of the chocolate room, you did the service also.
Yeah.
And how was the service? Because obviously you'd seen the service in El Bulli.
Yeah.
Right? Different style of kitchen.
Totally different style.
To then a kitchen at the Fat Duck, which is not the biggest.
Well, no, it was like the smallest kitchen I ever worked in. Like literally your back is almost touching the back of the guy behind you.
Right.
It's super small. If someone needs to go to the walk-in chiller, you need to move. If someone needs to open the oven, you need to move. So it's very, very much like a puzzle.
Okay.
But I don't know, it's something like the food, everything that we were doing there, it was very wow. So everything that I saw there, it was like, I want to know more. So again, the knowledge moved me there.
But you were there for a total of 5.5 years, right?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. And again, you know, working at the highest possible level, you know, I want to understand again, from working at such a high level place, what was your biggest lesson that you had from the Fat Duck?
Well, the Fat Duck, I got a lot of lessons, because obviously it was much more longer in time. And obviously the Fat Duck, it was very special because I started as a CDP. For the first year and a half, I was CDP. Then I moved to Singapore.
Yes,
and then I come back as a executive pastry chef of the experimental kitchen, which is the dream. When I was a CDP, this one was my dream. Not even to be the head chef, just to be working in the experimental kitchen. That one was my dream. And they offered me to be the head pastry chef of the experimental kitchen. So it was like, you know, like you put your shoes and you just focus. All your life is about creativity, learning, organization, and learning, and books, and so much.
So you were just really focused on research and development and beyond
and beyond as much. This one probably was the most stressful time in my life.
Why?
Because when I was there as a executive of the experimental kitchen, the Fat Duck closed in UK. They renovated and they moved to Australia.
To Melbourne, right?
To Melbourne. So the people that we stayed there, we have to create a new menu. So when they came back, we opened the Fat Duck with a new menu, a new kind of concept, a new way to eat. So for the first basically 3 months, we were just thinking how we are going to make a new way to eat, how we are going to recreate the new Fat Duck. And this one was a lot of people that we meet, like neurologists, perfumers, magicians, actresses. Every single person that you can imagine, we've been meeting, we've been learning, we've been researching to create the new kind of Fat Duck.
So let's put that into context. The Fat Duck had gone to Melbourne. And how long did you have before you had to launch that new menu?
7 months.
7 months. And in that 7 months, as well as working with people from outside of the industry, who were you working with directly, also from a savory perspective?
So the Fat Duck, basically the whole team is together. So savory and sweet, we are together. Because we were creating the whole menu. So the whole menu has to have sense. You cannot have something very much in one side and the savories, and suddenly you arrive to pastry and it's nothing talking about. Also because we wanted to start with the storytelling style. So the storytelling must to have sense. So everything was very much together. That's why I told you I learned much more of the savory when I was at the Fat Duck. Both of the times I learned a lot because of that.
And how involved was Heston Blumenthal specifically for that menu? I mean, what was the process? So, for example, you would be given, let's say, a target to hit or a direction, right? You develop, everybody's very happy. Okay, Heston comes to taste, and then he says, no, I want to go further or deeper. How did he work?
So for many months, we were just thinking the way to serve the menu.
Right.
And after we understood that, we start to make the food. Because you can make food if you don't know how you're going to serve. What is the purpose? What is the direction?
For every dish?
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we make kind of this storytelling, which is from beginning to the end, it has sense.
Right.
And very first, we proposed to him.
And what was the theme that you particularly worked on at that time?
We make like a kind of like a trip from the eyes of a UK kid.
Right. Okay. And the kid was traveling.
So you start with your breakfast, cereals, and then your family takes you to different places. So it takes you to the seaside.
Okay.
It takes you to the forest.
Got you.
It goes you to a very nice restaurant,
Okay.
and then it takes you to bed.
Right. Beautiful. So once you develop the dishes and the story, when did Heston come into the picture?
No, Heston came to the picture much earlier. So we thought in how to make it. We kind of explained to him which part we wanted to touch, why we want to make it this way, and all that. He agreed, and then we start to prepare dishes. It was not always very easy. I have to say, especially the savory side, he's very much attached.
And is that because he's what? But when you say not easy, is it because he's more exacting, or his brain works in a different way?
His brain works in a totally different way. I will say that for me, the brain of Heston works exactly like the brain of Ferran.
Okay.
For me, they are like similar people from two different countries. They have the same way to think totally out of the box. And they know particular what they want. And Heston knows very much what they want. So if you want to do something else, he needs to be very convinced. So I remember when I present the idea of my dish, I never present primarily my dish. I prepare first the concept of the dish. And when we saw him taking the phone out of the pocket and taking a picture, we knew that it will be a yes. So I remember that day perfectly. We prepared so many things for him. And he was like, no, this one is done. No, this one is done. Someone did it before. This one is in this book. And only when we arrived to the dessert, it came. But the dessert, it was the hardest thing ever. And it came because we went to Liverpool. We went with Professor Francis, and he explained to us a lot of things about how the brain works. A lot of things. And they give me an idea by telling me about one experiment. So these guys, he present with his team different experiments about food and brain. And one of the guys was telling that it was an experiment where different people was coming into a room to make different questionnaires. And before they enter into the room, someone pump on them, and they throw some books on the floor, and they give them to these people a cup of coffee. So the people that touch the cup of coffee and it was cold, once they enter inside the room, they have negative answers to the questions. And the people that have the hot cup of coffee, they have positive questions, positive answers to the questions. So I was thinking what the power of the hands. And I was thinking, then if I eat in a mousse, as a chef, we always try to have the best texture, the highest, the lightest, the crunchiest. So I was thinking, then if I'm touching something very fluffy, my mousse, it will feel maybe more fluffy. And then it started the idea of having a spoon folded with something like a teddy bear. So you will feel something very, very fluffy. And this one is how because because everything was like a kid. When you are a kid, you sleep with a teddy bear.
Yes.
Teddy bear is fluffy, so it has sense that your handle is something fluffy. So you can feel all that things it came to us. So we create the dish based on that. So when the day came to explain to Heston, we give to him like a very simple one tray with 4 spoons. I remember that like weeks before I have already the idea, I went to Bath to visit the city, and I saw on H&M like a baby coat with different textures. So I bought the coat, I cut the coat, and I fold the spoons with different textures of the coat. So this is what I present to Heston. And he was like, yeah, I know what you try to do. It's working. Work on this. I didn't have to explain too much. He already knew, but yeah.
How amazing was that?
It was like really, really very nice. When you end up creating something that is really have so much sense, it's like really like, okay.
But you must have also seen so many stagiaires and chefs come through that kitchen.
So much.
Because everybody, again, wanted to work there.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those kitchens that, again, changed. And I think it also sort of changed the game for England in a way.
Yeah,
A
totally.
lot of people thought, and people still think English food and English restaurants are not great. But
Which is so much wrong.
Which is wrong, actually. There's some amazing chefs and amazing restaurants, but I believe that Heston in particular really put England on the map. You can talk about, of course, Gordon and Marco, Raymond Blanc, and all of these great respected chefs, but it really was Heston and the Fat Duck who put England on the map from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right? And also, were you also involved in Heston's books or working with TV and things like this?
Not so much, because mainly all of those things, it happens before my time over there.
Right.
So no, but I've been working with people that was involved into this TV and all that, and they were telling me stories, and really, really fun time, because they were really beyond what is the ordinary. So.
Yeah. But then you also mentioned sort of after a year and a half of the Fat Duck, you also went to Singapore at 2 a.m. with Chef Janice Wong. How was that for you? Because you went from, again, England to first time in Asia?
Well, I already made one trip, but yes, it's almost first time in Asia.
And why did you decide to work there?
Because while I was probably the first week at the Fat Duck, I saw the book of Janice. I saw her job, what she was doing, and I remember I said to a Canadian guy, Richie, I will go to work in Singapore to this place. And he told me, oh, do you know her? I'm like, no, but I will go there. And yes, years after I was there.
And I have to say, it's a completely different world.
Totally.
Going from England to Singapore. How was that for you?
Well, Singapore is probably my other favorite city in the world, because it has everything that I like it, the weather, the nature, the food, the people. I'm very much attached into Asia for something that logically I cannot say why, but I feel very much the food, I feel the culture. So when I remember I was in Asia, and every time still when I come back to Asia, I really feel like home. So for me, Singapore, it was like also an amazing place.
You know why? Carmen? It's because those chefs, when you were working in France, when you were having those Asian weekends, those flavors were probably there, and
probably
you still wanted to explore. What was the job that you had there?
Over there, I was the head chef of 2 a.m. as a restaurant. So I was taking care of everything in the restaurant, creating new dishes sometimes, helping in all the edible art, because I was very much in love with the edible art part and how much far you can get with food. Because after being at the Bulli, at the Fat Duck, I wanted to see how much more you can make in food.
Because but you're really constantly, seems like you're just pushing yourself and pushing boundaries, and so curious at all times.
Yeah, it's something that I really like to learn how others they do, what is possible, what is not possible. So yeah.
And then look, I also have to ask you about the world chocolate competitions that you've done. What sort of inspired you to enter these things?
Being honest, like many times when I speak with people about competitions, everyone is talking about the ego of the chef by being the best, number one, and all that. But being honest, I don't think that I have this kind of ego inside so much. But it's something more like a pressure to yourself to see how far you can get as a professional.
Right.
Then you discover that competitions is not so much about professional, it's so much about person, how far you can get yourself. I joined the competition 2 times in between 4 years difference. Both of the time I was number 3 in the competition in Spain. And both of the time I learned so much, so much about myself that of course you learn a lot about pastry and techniques and all that, but the most that I learned is about myself.
But what did you learn? What were those lessons?
So you learn a lot about how to organize yourself, how far you can get, how to manage the stress. Because, for example, the first competition, it was 9 hours competitions where you have to present 5 different things, 5 different items in 9 hours. So you need to be totally focused for 9 hours where nothing disturbs you.
And you're working on your own? Or you have a team?
So many years after I discovered that people have a team behind, but because at the time I was just moving from restaurants, I never have like a team with me. And this one probably was my mistake, because usually you have yourself and people that is helping you with all the small stuff.
Right.
So for example, I could say that I didn't manage my time well because all these small things that others they are doing, I have to do myself. So if today I have to join a competition, it will be a totally different game.
Sure.
Because you know much more. But back in the years, I took more from a personal point of view more than a business or a professional point of view.
Right, okay. And I'm interested when you say you had to manage the stress, because you've managed stress at the highest possible levels, right? But this time, what was so different about managing this specific type of stress?
It's very different because when you're in a kitchen, you are the one following others until you become the head chef. But when you are in a competition, you are your head chef. So you need to know this time, or, oh, this is not working, what I'm going to do. Because, for example, in my first competition, just on the door of the place, we have a small accident with the van, and the chocolate piece break, all the pieces, they break. So I have to thinking how to remake it, to don't make it horrible, to do, because I need to have the enough height to don't get negative points.
Right.
So you have to reinvent yourself. But somehow I'm very good into work under pressure. And usually when I am under pressure, I almost always have the best of me coming out. It's not the best thing always, but I'm taking the best always in the worst timings. So I'm always I'm able to solve issues.
And how many people or how many competitors are there in these competitions?
Usually it's around 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
Yeah.
Right.
First year there were 8. Last year I think that we were 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, considering it was the first time you entered and you came third and you were more or less alone, I believe.
Yeah.
Still pretty good.
Yeah. I have to say that my boss in France, he was giving me a very good guidelines.
Okay.
And I have to say also that by chance, again, I consider myself very lucky, very, very lucky. I was preparing myself in France. I asked to my boss if he could allow me to be on his space, using resources, machinery, because obviously you cannot do it at home, for example. So at that time, I quit my job and I just focused on the competition. And he told me, yes, of course you can come in. That time, one day, by chance, one friend of mine, pastry chef, passed by Perpignan, which is the place that I was. And he told me, what are you doing? What are you training? And I'm like, no, I'm training for the World Chocolate Masters. And he told me, who is helping you? I'm like, well, Olivier Bayard. And he's like, that's all? I'm like, yes. A few days after, he contacted me and he told me that there is a guy, Jordi Bordas, that wants to help me out to see how far we can get. So Jordi Bordas came to Perpignan.
No way.
And he showed me one of the best things in my life, that is what is the power of a paper roll and how to organize. And this one was a very, very good lesson that I learned, that still I use today to create menus at Bricks.
Phenomenal.
And he helped me out in the last 12 days on the competition. And he helped me to especially to think, to organize, to make so many things, that I think that this is the biggest help that I got. Because back in the years, I have a very mind that okay, I'm going to break rules and all that. And my boss in France, he was telling me, no, in a competition, you cannot break rules. You need to be more strict. And always I was thinking, well, French style. And this guy, he was telling me, no, you have to do this style for competitions. Because obviously competition is a very, very restricted thing that after doing it, you understand. So, yeah.
But then, Carmen, how did you then land in the Middle East, in Dubai and Bricks? How was the approach and who approached you?
It's a quite long story, but making it short, I was living in Saudi Arabia because I was working for Nobu. I really liked what I was doing, but I was not really feeling myself because I have a much more creative side. So I saw in LinkedIn someone say, I'm looking for a head pastry chef to open a concept in Dubai. I called and they told me the story, and I thought that this one was my place. So I left Saudi Arabia just after pandemic, 2021, and I came here to open Bricks as it is today.
And so the concept was originally to just have, in the LinkedIn post, to have a dessert
like
restaurant?
a dessert experience. It was like to work on a dessert restaurant experience.
Okay.
It was not very clear what it was, but I was very interested into restaurants and desserts.
Okay.
So I was checking more, and I saw, and I was like, okay, let's do it.
And did you have to have a cook-off?
No.
So you came in, got the job, happy days.
Yeah.
So look, for anyone who hasn't been to Bricks, can you explain the concept, please?
So Bricks is a dessert restaurant in a fine dining level, I will say, where every course that you have is a dessert from a very much open-mind dessert.
Okay, so if I break that down. So first of all, how many courses are there on the menu?
Because we have two menus. There is one menu that is 4 courses, and there is another menu which is 6 courses that became at the end in total of 10 bites or big desserts.
Okay. And every course, is it sweet? Is it savory? How does it work?
This is my everyday fight with the world because in everyone minds, and when I say every mind is everyone mind, dessert is a very sweet thing. Mm-hmm. And what we do in Bricks is something that is just a dessert. So I don't like sweets in general. I eat many times a piece of cheesecake anywhere and I'm like, this is so sweet, I cannot have it. So for me, a dessert is much more than something sweet. You can play with textures, you can play with flavors, you can play with temperatures. And this is what we put on the table in Bricks. It's always storytelling. This is something that I took from the Fat Duck.
Right.
Because I understand the power of storytelling. When you are telling a story, everyone gets into a different mindset, into a different mood. And because already having a menu only of dessert is something very different from anything that you have before, I like that people feel in a very different way of anything that you had before, especially in a restaurant style. Mm-hmm. So It's a place where you go, you sit, and you're having desserts that most part of the people never had before. And I could say that many chefs that they come into the restaurant, many of them, they told me at the end of the meal, this is far from what I thought it's going to be. Many chefs, they never have some of the flavors or the textures or the flavor combinations, things like that.
When you first started, and was it your first time in Dubai?
It was not my first time. I came just before Corona.
Okay.
But very briefly. So it was my first time that I really have like a Dubai vibe.
And what did you feel about the city when you landed here?
It's a very different city of anything that I've been living before in. It reminds me at some point like Los Angeles, where you need to have your car for everywhere you go. I have really very much that feeling. Also, there is palms everywhere. So it's very, very similar. It was very hot, but okay. But I really like it, the way that everyone welcomes you. No one is different in this city, and this is for me is very important because I'm always being the different one everywhere. That I don't really mind, but it's true that in here we are all different. We are all from somewhere else, so doesn't really matter these small things. And respect people, smiling. There's not so many issues, and if you have issues, you don't highlight it. You don't complain all the time. So this is something that is really calls you to keep being in here.
I love that. So true. And then when you started developing the first menu for Bricks, did you immediately go back to, wanting to tell that story?
The very first menu, it was Escape, the very, very first. And it was I wasn't not so sure how to make it completely, the menu that has sense. And I remember perfectly the moment, the space, I remember. And it just something click and says, we need to tell this story this way. We need to give a passport. We need to explain to everyone that you go to a trip. And I will tell him through my story.
Brilliant.
Because when I came here, everyone was so surprised that Dubai was the 7th country that I was living in. So I thought that in every country I've been really learning a lot. So I can really tell a story through my knowledge. And this is how we make it.
And how did you go about then? Because this was, I think, I might be wrong, but I think this was the only restaurant for sweets or dessert in the Middle East at the time.
Yes.
As in, at the level, I'm saying. So how did you go about getting your team, first of all?
Well, let's call it a restaurant for desserts, please. And the team was there because Bricks was a Bricks bar that makes all the desserts for 3 fields.
Okay.
So with the people that it was already in the team, we started to make this menu. So it was a little bit of challenge because obviously not so many people is being in fine dining restaurants. But to be honest, people is very open to learn in this country. And if you have the patience to teach, everything just works.
Right.
And I'm a person that I try to don't focus so much on what I don't have. I focus on what I have. So if people have passion, you only need to teach. So we really make it possible just by teaching, by putting everyone on the spot and everyone like really learning. And when at the very beginning it was a little bit scary because we didn't know how people will accept the restaurant.
Right.
But the more that you see people really enjoying, some people crying because the flavors, because the food, because the whole thing, and your team can understand the power of what you are doing, people wants to do more and learn more.
And so if we fast forward to now, how many courses are on those menus?
Around 10 courses, and let's say the new one that we are launching just next week is gonna be around 8 to 9 courses.
Right.
Also, and it's between big, small bites and
Okay.
no bites.
And what are you most proud of now, considering, you started there 2021, to now, for you, what's the one thing that, you know, really fills you with joy, considering the journey that you've come from?
Well, probably to make a place where I really can express myself, where I'm making things as I want, and I see that what I think that people will feel is exactly what people is feeling. Because for me, it's very important to do something and moves people inside. This is what I really like to do. And it's really, for me, probably one of the most important part of what I'm doing. Do something that is really my identity. I can do as I like it. And people understand.
And is it just one sitting, or you're serving people twice? How does it work?
We have 3 sittings.
3?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So we have, at the moment is Silk Road, the most popular. So we have 2 sittings for the Silk Road. And now the new one, which is Emirati, is going to be in the middle sitting.
My goodness. But look, the other one, Carmen, and I know that you probably don't want to talk about this, but, you know, you've been awarded for numerous things, right? So let's not lie to ourselves. Mina's 50 Best Pastry Chef, Tatler, Go and Milo. Even if you go outside your restaurant, there are so many awards, you know. How is that for you?
It is very nice thing to have the recognition, of course, because it means that your job, everything that you are doing, all the struggle that you go in so many times, it has a sense. Because obviously when you have a restaurant only for dessert, it's not always easy at all. So you need to fight a lot, you need to explain a lot, you need to compromise a lot. And when you see recognition, you understand that little by little it's getting sense. But it's okay, at the end of the day, we are just chefs. Like, there is something that you cannot forget, that with or without us, people will eat better or worse. It will have more experience or less, but I think that you never can let yourself go in so far, because, yeah, we are chefs, we do very well or worse, or people will like more what you do or will like less, but at the end of the day, we are chefs.
No, absolutely. But I also wanted to understand, and from my perspective, you know, you're a chef that has worked, and again, in some of the best places in the world. Your knowledge, not just about desserts, but knowledge of food when it comes to sort of techniques, science, psychology, stories, is vast, it's very big. Were you at all in the early sort of years at Brix sort of frustrated in terms of, you know, you were trying to tell this amazing story and getting that message that the menu was not all going to be sweet and desserts? Was that frustrating in the beginning?
I have to say that we have a lot of people at the beginning that they really understand and they really were willing to try. Probably now it's getting a bit harder because there is a lot of more new people that they really don't get that so much.
Okay.
But it's okay. The frustration, I think that sometimes it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, you have it everywhere, but it's something that we get used to now.
Sure.
It's just me saying a lot of times, I don't do sweet, I do desserts.
Right.
And trying to make people understand that it's another way to...
So it's a little bit of an informational or educational...
Yeah. We really spend a lot of time by having guests coming in. Oh, what are you doing here? Because we really try to make Brix a very nice place, beautiful, where everyone feels welcome, where you feel like at home. And people really understand, and once you are inside, you really feel in a very different way. So it's only explaining, it's not what you think.
Okay. But then once you received these titles also, is there more pressure for you to do more pop-ups or go to different countries? And because you're recognized globally, it's not local. You're really recognized as you know, one of the world's best pastry chefs, and rightly so. Do you also have to split your time more doing different pop-ups, or are you more in the restaurant? How do you manage this?
Well, I have to say that this year is been like a really difficult one. It's been a lot of countries, a lot of travel, a lot of trips, but very necessary to spread the word and to spread the spirit of Brix. Because sometimes when you have doubts, but then you see people eating what you do, it has totally sense. But you know that it's a work that is like little by little. And I think that it's not only on me. Anyone that has a restaurant only for dessert, they've been going through the same.
Yes.
Depends where you are. You are more lucky or less lucky, depending on how people open their minds. And it's very hard to explain to people and say, okay, Bricks is something, it's a place that you can go, you can come back, and it's something different. And it changed a lot because even for us, each different customers, every guest is a totally different experience because the vibe is, because we are so close, it's like a one-to-one with us. Every guest have a different vibe, and it changed totally the mood of the experience. It's very hard to transport this. Even my father came this year, have the experience, and he was like, very nice, but how I'm going to explain to everyone what do you do? Because it's very hard to explain. So you need to come, you need to try.
Of course.
And we have many guests that they came and they say, I don't know, my friend just told me, go. I cannot explain you what is there.
But
so that's probably the hardest part.
Right.
For us.
And from the, do you get a lot of guests coming back to you once they sort of get it? You know, do they want to come back and try something new, or do they want to, experience the same?
So we have all kind of guests. Many guests, they come back for celebrations. Some of guests, they come back with the parents because we are from everywhere. We have a lot of visitors. So, I'm going to take you to a restaurant. So we have guests repeating with parents, with sisters, very much.
Wow.
So we have a lot of tourists that they know what to do in Dubai, and they come in and they visit us.
That must be really beautiful to see that as well.
Yeah, people from all over the world are coming. Yeah.
But then if we go next, or almost next to Bricks, you also have Bricks Cafe.
Yes.
And if the pressure wasn't enough at Bricks, Bricks Cafe again, it is more relaxed and a cafe sort of concept, would you say?
Well, more relaxed, we could say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
It's relaxed from the point of view that is much more simple food, let's say.
Right.
Everyone understands what we do. There is no needed for any explanation. But at the same time, we fight because there is a lot in Bricks that not everyone see. So because we are Bricks Cafe, not everyone knows that we have a whole range of chocolates that you can have, you can take home, that you can give as a gifting. We have a big amount of different cakes that you can use for celebrations. Some people not necessarily see those things. That we are always trying to make new things from a very nice culinary point of view, where you are just playing with flavors, with textures, and making like a French style cakes, all these Europeans. So it's a lot of things that still we want to show what we can do. Croissants, they are very much, everyone knows them. But it's also a lot of more pushing the boundaries. We have now a menu with pizza, where we have like a proper pizza place, 5 days fermentation pizzas. We develop for a long time, and it's little by little try to show how much farther we can get in Bricks.
Absolutely, because also the other thing is that, the trend nowadays with cafes, let's say, is that there's a lot of pastries and bakeries and things like that. But when you go to Bricks Cafe and you go to the display and you see the croissants and the pastries, these are not just normal croissants and pastries. These are like technically beautiful, delicious flavors that are slightly out of the box, I would say, but you want to buy them all because they're so amazing. So again, where does all of this inspiration come from, and how are you managing to literally manage Bricks and also Bricks Cafe? Because you have to have quite a strong team, right? Yeah.
I have to say that I only can do because the team that I have. Without the team, I think that no chef in the world is nothing. And the team is crucial. I have a team that we've been working for a long time, and they really understand me very well and what is the direction. So basically, we just split mornings more in the cafe, evening more in the journey.
Right.
And the savory team is very strong. My baker was working with me in South Africa came here. My pastry chef in the cafe has been working in bricks more years than me. So, yeah, I have a very, very strong team. They're always really, really pushing their own boundaries because I take them everywhere. We really do a lot, but because I think that we all always learn new things. In everywhere that we go, something happens, something we learn. I think that, you feed up also the team with your spirit.
But with the eyes of the world in Dubai now, from a gastronomic perspective, you have the Michelin Guide, 50 Best, Go and Merlot, all of the lists, they're all here. What is next for you? What is next for the brand? What would you like to achieve or push the boundary? Because you're that sort of chef who wants to carry on really, really developing and pushing yourself and pushing the team and pushing the brand. So what would you like to achieve?
We want, and I want also to keep developing much more further with Bricks Cafe, because obviously Bricks journey is one and only, and you cannot replicate it because you need so many things around it. But Bricks Cafe, I wanted to push a lot of more. Obviously, it takes a lot from the guests that they understand that it's much more than just a cafe. I think that one of the issues that we're having today is that, it's a cafe, you have ABC, you go to a chocolate place, you have chocolates, you go to an ice cream shop, you have ice creams. And there is not so many places that you can have everything together. But somehow, I've been working in so many different places that I've been working a lot with chocolate, a lot with bakery, a lot with restaurants. So I am able to have a place where you can really have the best chocolate boxes together with the best macarons and croissants and a very good breakfast. So everything can happen. And I think that this is the boundary that we have to push a little bit for everyone to understand these kind of things.
But do you still feel inspired? Do you still have the freedom to develop and do whatever you want? We can say that I have all the freedom in Bricks journey because you can go very, very wild. But it's true that in the rest of the places, there is a lot of people that is very conservative. So people really like to eat a certain things. Right.
So I think that in any menu, in any restaurant or cafe, you have to have certain kind of items, and then you can play around with a 10-20% of the rest.
Right.
If you want a formula that will please everyone, because even if there is something that you don't have, the guests, they will tell you, oh, I would love to have this in the menu, because we are always asking for feedback to the guests. What would you like to have? How do you feel? And all these kind of things. And if there is not something in the menu that people want, they will make sure that you know.
Okay.
So obviously, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you want to spread yourself. You have a business to run.
Yes, yeah.
And there is a percentage that you need to please.
That's really interesting, because you're right. There's a lot of chefs, and I would say chefs with ego, that want to just do their own menu, and they do their crazy things. It doesn't work, and then the business ultimately fails. Whereas you're right, the chefs that are smart, 70 or 80%, they have things on the menu that are safe, and 20% are things that are sort of a bit, they can play around with, and it's really, really important.
For me, it's about, as my father said a long time ago, whatever you do your best. How many croissants there is in the world, but how many there is the best. So for me, this is one of the important part. Like, for example, to be honest, until I came here, I never really liked it so much Turkish egg, for example. That's a small example. But I've been eating a lot of Turkish egg everywhere. So when I have to make my Turkish egg, I wanted to make them different to the rest. Not because anything else is bad, because if you have to make something that everyone has, try to make it the best that you can.
Right.
Turkish egg is just a small example. It's Benedictine. It's going to be any single thing. Like pizza, how many pizza there is? The pizza that we are doing now, for me, is the one that I really like. It is a long fermentation, high hydration. So it's a pizza, but it's something very special for me, the way to make it. Same with the croissant. The croissant is, sometimes they ask me, which one is the best croissant for you in Dubai? And for me, I have to say, it's my croissant, but not because it's the best for everyone. It's because I do the croissant as I like it.
Right.
So I really like croissants like in France, like Pierre Hermé style, with a lot of butter, very, very flaky, that you really feel that you are eating a croissant. So this is the croissant that you can have in bricks. It's not better or worse than others. It's the one that I really understand as a croissant. And people like it also.
Yeah. No, but it's made me think a lot, actually, because there's probably over 1,000 croissant places in Dubai. But you're right, there's only a few that I think, actually, this is the one that I would really love to have. And you're right, it's that sort of flaky butteriness, which is, really, really key. But, Carmen, before we get on to the quick fire questions, I want to also understand your thoughts on the next generation of pastry chefs. Now, you've obviously had your fair share of teams, whether it's at Brix, whether it's at Brix Cafe. Are you seeing that more and more people want to go into pastry, or is it more of a struggle? And when it comes to the generation, the younger generation, do they want to work? Do they not want to work? Do they want to learn as much as before?
I have to say that this conversation is coming along with all the chefs, all my friend chefs, anywhere in the world. I just came from Asia, and obviously I've been with a lot of chefs. We all talk about the same. The new generation is not as we've been. Like, for example, as we spoke before, I've been working 14 hours for free for 6 months. I can see now that maybe back in the years and even today is something a little bit abusive.
Right.
But it was the only way to do it. So, or you do or you don't do. Now, new generations, they are just stepping up and say, no, you want me to work, I can work, but not for free, for example. And 14 hours, no, I want to work less hours. I don't mind this because at the end of the day, you need to have a balance. It's true that there is a point in your life that you need to push at all levels. If you want to go to the gym and be the world champion of anything, you really need to push more than the others. And I think that this is the part that many young generation is missing. If you don't push, you cannot get excellent. At no level, at anything, not even in the kitchen, anywhere. If you want to talk about history, you have to read how many books? Not only 8 hours reading, you need to really read a lot. If you want to be a, writer, anything, you need to go beyond of what everyone else is doing. And even if it's a sacrifice at some point, there is something that is coming back after the years. But now everything is much more instant. So everything will change a little bit, but I think that things they will be different and they will come back again to what it used to be. Because historically it's been like this all the time.
Very true.
Every time. But it's true that generations knew they kind of miss a little bit the passion. Or maybe because I see myself for so many years thinking, oh, I don't know anything, oh, there is so much to learn. And now the new generations is more into, oh, I almost know everything. I saw a video, I know how to make it. But obviously, I remember when I was learning, I was looking for so many books that give me explanation of what I didn't know. And I couldn't find them, or they were very expensive, and I couldn't afford to have them. And now everything is into internet, anywhere. That it's so easy to get that people don't pay attention. I used to go everywhere with a small notebook, all my pockets of all the chef trousers, big pockets full of mini notebooks. And I was writing every single information that they give me. No one write down anything anymore. Not even write down, not even making a video or things like that. We'll get later the information. Crazy. But you never come back to this.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? You're right. It's and I have the same conversation with chefs from across the world.
Yeah.
But I think it will come back. I have hope.
No, it has to come back because no one becoming an expert by doing things one time.
Correct.
Like, for example, now I'm teaching the guys how to make bonbons into the mold. And of course, I'm the fastest and I'm the cleanest, but not because I'm the best. It's because I made thousands and thousands and thousands of bonbons for hours and hours. I remember when I was in Barcelona, sometimes we've been 12 hours in front of the chocolate machine just making bonbons. So of course you will become an expert, but just because repetition.
Yes, exactly.
But this is anything in life. If you want to be an expert, you will do this way. I think that the new generations will be kind of split into two. The one very, very good and the rest.
So, Carmen, now we have come to the quick fire round. The first question is the most difficult for the chefs to answer. Can you tell me your favorite ingredient, please?
Well, it's no doubt, it's of course chocolate.
100%.
100%.
What percentage?
Between 70 to 75.
Oh, so 72% Venezuelan, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Pickled or spicy?
Pickle.
Pickled. Churros or creme catalan?
I have to say always churros, but the churros, the
Okay.
proper ones.
The proper churros, okay. Paella or pan au chocolat?
Oof. Paella, but the new style.
New style, okay. Silk Road or the Seasons?
Silk Road.
Silk Road, 100%. And this is especially for you because you lived in England.
Yeah.
Fish and chips or Sunday roast?
Oh, fish and chips.
Fish and chips?
Yeah.
All right.
And if it's possible, from the crown.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, as of this moment, right now, what would you say are your top 3 favorite cuisines to eat?
My favorite ones.
Yes. As of right now.
Japanese, number 1. Chinese.
Oh, Japanese and Chinese, like it.
And I have to say Vietnamese.
Vietnamese. Okay. Ah, so you like spices and like, I like
It's
it.
they have everything. I like it. Flavor, herbs. Like Vietnamese food is full of herbs and textures and yeah.
Wow.
And Chinese food. I mean, Chinese food is like we say so easily, but it's so huge.
It is.
And so big, and it's always something to discover. Like it's wow.
Now, who would you say are your top 3 food heroes, but they don't necessarily need to be chefs?
Well, for sure, Ferran and Heston, that is 100%. And I have to say that probably the person that decided to create MasterChef, because this MasterChef, it really changed so much around the world and gives visibility to what we are doing every single day. That I don't know if it was one person of one concept, but this really changed a lot into how people perceive food, how people perceive chefs. Like there is a huge change when I started and I wanted to be a chef, and everyone look at you like, why you want to do this? And now you are a chef, and people look at you with different eyes, regardless if you have awards or no awards. Everyone look at you from a totally different point of view.
Very true. Very true. Now, from all of your experience in kitchens, restaurants, hospitality, what would you say has been the funniest either restaurant incident that you have seen or kitchen incident that you have been involved in?
I don't know if it's the funniest, but it's the most shocking one is happening in my life. It was at El Bulli one day. It was probably the day that I saw Ferran more angry than any other day. the whole kitchen just was totally quiet because he was shouting, he was so angry. Probably really for me was the worst day that I see him. It was very short, it wasn't like the whole day like that, but at some point, like all the chefs in the world, he got very angry. We couldn't understand what he was talking because he was talking in Catalan, but even people that speak Catalan, he couldn't understand him. And everyone was totally like shocked and quiet because usually he's never like that. And I was moving like a tray full of bowls, glass bowls. And one guy, Vishal, I remember perfectly, he moves, he put the feet, and I fell with this tray on the floor where everyone was quiet and suddenly was this horrible noise like of glasses almost breaking everyone looking at me. Fran looked at me like, and somehow I just took it like very decently, took it and I just kept moving on. And it was silence, but after this it was like silence for 10 minutes, nothing happens.
Wow.
And I get so angry at that guy.
Thanks a lot, Bishal.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what advice would you give to young pastry chefs who want to work at the highest possible levels of gastronomy?
I will say that the highest level of gastronomy is the higher level that is for each individual. Because I know that for me, fine dining is very special because I really feel things when I go to fine dining restaurants. But it doesn't mean that it's the best. It means that it's what I really like to do. But I will say that the highest for everyone, it must be what really makes you happy or what you think that makes you happy. That's for me the most important part. There is people super happy making everyday cooking cakes with fondant and they're really happy doing this. And I'm happy making fine dining desserts with impossible textures. Doesn't mean that my part is best than the others. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. But for me, the best advice is understand that you never know everything, but also don't allow that anyone tell you no or you cannot. Because I have so many of those in my whole life and I ignore all of them. That this one, if you don't have a strong personality or if you don't know where you go to, you can really fail into what others, they will tell you that is the best.
And the last question, Carmen. What advice would you give to a 16-year-old Carmen Rueda Hernandez?
Probably the advice that I will do is double check in everything that you are doing. So once you do something, you need to analyze what's happening so you will learn faster of your mistakes. But I have to say that I did exactly what I wanted to do at every time. I really feel very, very happy and very unfortunate because I've been doing every single thing that I wanted to do. I moved to every country that I wanted to move. I worked with every chef I wanted to work. And I learned so much from all of them. And I've been believing a lot in my gut feeling. My instinct really told me so much that, yeah, of course, life can be different, depends which decisions you take. But I think that because I always been doing what I really wanted, is just keep doing as you did.
And if people wanted to get hold of you through social media, how can they do that?
Chef Carmen Rueda and number 6 at the very end.
So Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will put all of that in the show notes for everybody to message you. Carmen, on behalf of the Chef JKP Podcast, thank you very much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you very much.
It has been amazing to have you on. On behalf of the hospitality industry, on behalf of young chefs and people from all over the world who respect you, who haven't said this, to say thank you so much for inspiring them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing an amazing thing, and at the same time showing us that desserts are not just about sweet things and sugar. Yes. They can be an adventure. They can be a story. They can be something that some people may have never dreamt of in their life. So on behalf of all of those people, thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
What an extraordinary way to end season 11. A massive thank you to Carmen for her brilliance, her honesty, her inspiration, and truly to every single guest who has joined us throughout this season. Each conversation, each perspective has added another layer to this journey of growth that we've explored together. Well, that's it, gang. We're about to wrap things up. To all of you, our listeners, our viewers around the world, thank you so much for tuning in, for supporting the show, for sharing your messages, and for being part of this incredible community. Your energy is what keeps this podcast alive. As well as that, a big thank you to the entire team at Podster. And you all know who you are. Anna, Marwan, Nitu, Suhail, Angel, G-Unit, and the rest of the crew. Thank you so much for coming on the journey with me. It really means a lot. If you haven't already, make sure to follow, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And trust me, season 12 is already shaping up to be something very special. From all of us here at the Chef JKP Podcast, a very happy new year. Until next season, JKP signing out. And don't forget, food is memories.